Hello, everyone, and welcome to Navigating Research and Academic Writing. It's good to have you all here. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. Let me start with something. Since students turn to them at a point that they have done all they think they could do, and it was still returned to them. And that's one of the reasons that we are hosting this academic conversation. I call it an academic conversation because we are going to be talking. You will be talking this time around. What we will be doing is that you'll be watching us, and if you have any questions, if you have questions, just drop it in the live chat, and your questions will be attended to. Just make sure that you drop those questions in the live chat, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel as you join. Thank you so much, and I think it's time to introduce my guests. Welcome, Dr. Kunle Soyemi, and I must say that thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for accepting. Before I tell you to introduce yourself, I would like to say that Dr. Soyemi is a scholar in social science education and a lecturer in the University of Ibadan. I think let me just say that, and then I will open the floor for him to also introduce himself. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning from anywhere you're watching us from. Good
Good
afternoon.
morning. Good evening.
I know I'm Soyemi Adekunle Adeyinka. Uh, I am and I really appreciate the invitation uh, to learn or to contribute to us. Of course, my bias is the area of sciences education, especially
I think the
sociology.
line is breaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better now.
Clear now? And my bias is social sciences, sociology of education, and I'm a lecturer with the prestigious University of Ibadan. And it's good to be here again. I think that's enough for an introduction, right? Hello.
That's the problem. My goodness. My goodness. Think about stuff. Can you believe it's time all over?
Okay, Dr. Mojirayo, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But I can't see the video is not showing now. still
It
hear
was
me?
going to come on. It's going to come on very soon, man.
Okay, okay, okay. That's great. Okay, so let let's wait for it to come up while I.
Yeah, man. Hello.
Okay, so sorry for the glitch. This is another one. This is another one. I think it started all over again, but we move regardless. So I want us to thank you for introducing yourself. Thank you for introducing yourself, and just I would like you to tell us your struggles. Let's start with that. I want you to tell me your struggles. What was postgraduate life like for you? What was it like for you? Was it easy peasy? I mean, was it very, very easy? Was it smooth? Was there any struggle at all? What was it like for you? Just tell us. Let's hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much. For, postgraduate life, starting from the master's days, uh, the master's, which goes back to 20,
Hmm.
14, um, down to PhD, and that took me um, another 10 years. To be honest, it was easy, but it was some factors. And, one factor I can say is that um, nothing in my balance that's that whatever you know I can you know you just
Okay.
want to
I think the line is breaking from there. I think the line
can
is
you hear me now?
breaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear,
Yes,
but
I
it's
think it's clear
breaking.
now. Okay, is it clearer now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, I think
And
it's better.
yeah, you are talking about the fact that the struggles, the challenges, like I said, ẹni tó bá máa jẹun náà pátá kò ní wẹnu àké, you want to observe the end from the beginning. You want to imagine the end from the beginning. So that happened to be a driving force. That happened to be a push. But then what are the struggles to be specific? The first one is the finance factor. And finance factor it's not really peculiar to me. It's not exclusive to me. It's not a case that I can say I'm the only one that experience it.
Okay.
What
Please,
I'm
please
saying
hold on.
is
Please, I think I want us to check the. I'm trying to check the.
okay. Can you hear me now?
Please, if you
Can you
are
hear me now?
listening, yes, I think it's better. If you are listening and you can hear, can you just drop it in the live chat that I can hear you? Just drop it in the live chat that I can hear you. But if you cannot, just also drop it that I cannot hear you, just so that we will know that we are communicating. Go ahead, doctor.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. And the point is that, like I said, finance is one major factor because in this climate, this part of the world, we live in a place, in a space where most places are so funded, fully sponsored, sponsor yourself. Um, it happened that I wasn't working, talk like having access to the tech funds, the likes. So it was solely sponsored. That happens to be the first challenge. That's the first challenge. The second challenge is an issue of time. Time factor. Time issue is another very serious one. We live in a country or we live in a state where upon every session we experience, um, every session we experience in the university, you have to pay. So afraid of you are also conscious of timing. You understand me? Are you with me, man?
Yes, I
So
understand.
that's a major constraint for me, And another major challenge that I seem to have was the issue of convincing my audience, convincing my teachers.
Hmm,
Just
convincing your teachers
my teachers
about the
because
topic. Okay.
yes, about my topic, about my area of my focus, my interest, which I feel that anybody, any person doing a PhD or a postgraduate study will have that challenge. because it's a different thing to be able to talk, it's a different thing to be able to write. They're two different things. Am I making any sense? Okay. So,
Yes.
some of us have an ability to communicate better than writing. Some of us have an ability to write better than communicating orally, So, that was another major. So, convincing myself
Okay.
was another major challenge, you know. Then let me just be
But
with that, and there are some other things because along the line, I got a job as an adjunct lecturer somewhere, and it's I had the challenge of multitasking, divided attention. Anybody who has done anybody knows that PhD takes a major part of your life. It
that's
doctorate
right.
takes a major part of your life. But now having to struggle with your job and your a PhD study, it's a challenge on its own. You know,
Okay.
to be a person that I don't know, I'm not wired to be able to multitask, you know. I'm not wired
Mm.
to be able to multitask. So the moment I got a job, I just which was um, that that lower pace of my study. It lowered the pace
Okay.
of my
Okay.
study. So that's another major challenge. There's not I have time to explore everything because of the challenges I had. So, basically, let me just
Okay. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Your own challenge was the time your
uh,
topic not, people you could not convince, not that you could not convince, but people were not really convinced that that topic should
yeah,
even be done in the first place, and that was a challenge. And I think that brings
okay.
us to the next topic, the next thing I want to ask you. Why is it that people struggle with having a topic? Okay, so someone said that, by the way, someone said that, what are we really talking about? So although the message has already been retracted, but I just wanted to tell us that more about, for those who are just joining. I wanted to know that we are on an academic conversation, and the title of this academic conversation is navigating research and academic writing. What are we talking about? We are talking about how to navigate your research, how to navigate your academic writing as a final year student in the university, as a postgraduate student. In fact, you don't even have to be a final year student for you to benefit from this live conversation. Whether you are in 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, there will be a point that you need to write your project, your thesis, your dissertation, as the case may be. And that is why we are hosting, that's why we are organizing this live academic conversation. I hope that you now understand that. So someone said that the network is seizing. I noticed that from here too. The network is seizing. Your voice is, it's like the line is breaking. But I don't know. I don't know. We hope that it will get better. We hope that it will get better. So, like I said, you mentioned some things about your struggles that you had. You had a bit of difficulty when you wanted to convince your lecturers, your supervisor, that that topic is something that should be done. So that brings me to the next question. Why is it that people have issues picking a topic? Because I've had people come to me that, what topic should I pick? What topic should I pick? And I always tell them that, what are you really interested in? And by the time they tell me what they're interested in, I'll ask myself, is this a topic for a thesis, or a topic for a social media, write up, or what exactly is it? So I get that a lot. What topic should I talk about? What topic should I dwell on for my thesis? What topic should I use for my thesis, for my dissertation? So that brings me to the question: why do you think people struggle with picking a topic? Because that's supposed to be like the basics. Like that's supposed to be like the barest minimum, if that's the word. So what can you say about that?
Thank you very much. Hope you can hear me clearly now.
Yes, I think it's better. Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. This one is going to take a lot of time in our conversation, but I'm going to try to be as quick as possible. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
One problem that people struggle with topics, but let me just put several reasons that people struggle with topics. Is something because putting the cat before the horse and not putting the horse before the cat.
Hmm.
I try to outline maybe five major points on how best to get the topic. which people think struggle, people seem to be ignorant of or about before engaging in PhD study. I was in the office of what seemed makes me and I
The
saw
line
it.
is breaking.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Oh my God. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. It's just that the line
Okay.
is breaking. Like the line is breaking. The network
Really
is
breaking. Okay. Sorry, that's part of the challenges I encountered in research. Can you hear me now?
yes, I can.
Clear now? Okay. Is it clearer? Really clear?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
The point is people seem people tend to put the cart before the horse.
Mm.
I was in the office of a senior colleague recently, and we were doing the work together, and a student came, somebody came in, not a student yet, an individual came in, and she said that please, I would like you to be my supervisor.
Hmm.
I said that just like that, just like that. We'll talk about that in detail when it comes to maybe some other questions you ask. But let me try to address likely challenges that people encounter with to the that uh, 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 and if this type is not being adhered to, probably challenges. Can you hear me? Can you still hear me?
It's breaking. I don't know. It's breaking. Please, if you can hear, can you just drop that? I can hear clearly. Can you drop that? I can hear clearly in the live chat. Can you just drop that? I can hear clearly.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Trying to. I'm trying to listen if it is okay. Okay, so someone said that is a secondary school student welcome. Of course, it's welcome. You are I mean you are welcome. You are welcome. Yes. So if you're a secondary school student, you're welcome. The knowledge is something that you will need. So yes. So someone said that we can hear at some point, then it breaks. So I think that's from your end. I think that's from your end. Oh, I think that's from your end. Someone said that we can hear at some point and then it breaks. And someone said that I can't hear clearly. So I think it's the same here. I can't hear you clearly.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe it's my location. I don't know. Maybe it's my location. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Is it clearer now?
Yes, it's clear. It's clear. Hopefully it doesn't
Okay.
break again.
Okay. And sorry, that's part of the glitch we talk about, in INEC and Co. But that's by the way. And the point you want to before you pick a topic, you want to first can you hear me? You want to first
Yes.
find an area of interest. Area of interest, interest, and this doesn't just come that way. You need to spend time, you spend time before picking an area that you could say interests you or not. Are we together? Because I think about a study that was pursued for the next 3 to 4 years of your life. Like, can you hear me? Oh my God. Okay. Can you hear me now?
I am beginning to think now that probably it's the network you're using. Probably if you can switch, if that would work. Okay, so thank you so much for joining. I'm so sorry for the glitch in network, and that's one of the things that we face. That's just one out of the struggles that we face as students, as lecturers in this part of in this part of the world. Yes. So yes, I realized that while we wait for him to join, please, if you have any question, drop it now. If you have any question, please drop it. If you have any question, kindly drop it in the comments in the live chat. If there's any comments, kindly drop it in the live chat. So I let's talk about the topic. Let's talk about the issue of the topic. Now, I realize that people pick topics that are not researchable. A minute, please. People pick topics that are not researchable, and that's the problem. Now, imagine you talking about language and society. Imagine saying that you are saying language and society, and you want to use that as your thesis, the title of your thesis. Now, what aspect of language do you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on syntax? Do you want to focus on phonology? So if there is anything that you want to pick, you have to narrow it down. And I must say that I realize that most of the time, this is what people do. People try to, people try
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it clearer now?
okay, okay. I think it's better.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Is it clearer now?
Yes, it's clearer.
Okay, I'm sorry for the glitch. I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I really apologize.
Okay.
And the point I was trying to make initially was concerning issues of selection. Am I still clear?
Yes,
Okay, and
but you
we
may
are
need
talking
to
about.
increase. Like, I think it's quite low, so maybe you can raise your voice a bit
Okay, can you
so
hear
that
me
you can.
now? Is it clearer now?
Yes, it is.
Is it
Okay,
clearer
so
now?
someone asked the question that
Okay.
what if the supervisor you are giving doesn't seem to be interested? And before you came in, I was going to say that sometimes our topics are not researchable, and I was saying that, for instance, someone picking a topic so broad. Imagine a postgraduate student picking a topic so broad like language and society, and not, you know, picking just one area, because it is important to note that when you are doing your undergraduate studies, I mean, when you are doing your studies as an undergraduate, you can be so, general. You can pick, of course, you can be so general even when it comes to your project. But when you are doing a postgraduate studies, for instance, you're doing a master's, that means that you must master what you're doing. So, and it's very important to make sure that you you don't pick a topic that is too broad, because you will not be able to do justice to it. In your undergraduate studies, you can still do that, it can still pass. But in your masters, in your postgraduate, you just have to be specific. So are you talking about language? Pick the part of the language that you're talking about. English language. What part of English language? Are you talking about the society? Which society are you talking about? You cannot just say the society. What society are you talking about? Are you talking about the Nigerian society? Are you talking about your community? Of course, that's also. So whatever it is that you're doing, make sure that you are targeted. You target a particular community. I hope you understand that. So you can there's a question here that I would want you to address, but probably you can. I know you were saying something because before the network, went off. So probably after addressing that, then you come to this one. Someone said that, what if the supervisor you are giving doesn't seem to be interested in the area of topic you have chosen? They don't seem to be positive about it. I think you have a similar experience. So I think that is something that you'll be able to, of course, answer. So over to you.
Can you hear me? Can you still hear me? Is it clearer now? Can I
Yes, I
proceed?
can. Yes, you
Sorry,
can.
I hope the network doesn't continue with this.
I think the network is off again. So let's continue. Nevertheless. Okay, so
Okay.
okay, it's
Hello.
back.
Hello.
Yes, I'm
Um, okay. I was saying that you are talking about an area you'll be pursuing for the next 3 years. 3, 4 years. You don't want to do an area. You don't want to do a study that's going to be frustrating. That will not be interesting. That will not be exciting to you. Is that correct? So you want to focus in an area Can you hear me? Or an area, and that will be of interest to you. And this is very broad, or can be very broad. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes. So could be very broad. You and this could take time. To be honest with you, this area could take even more than a year, or even 2 years. More time. But the point is that it's often very broad most of the time. Then after that, you want to consider, get to this question, don't let this analysis. Why is it important for you to actually arrive at a topic, right? PhD topic
Mhm.
or a postgraduate topic. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, not
So this
clearly.
area could be very broad. After that, you want to talk about you want to find niche. Do you get the second point? You want to find a right niche. This right niche now, or niche side of your work. You understand now? Probably you start looking for an area that is small enough. Let me go back to the first point, which is a broad range. And you might be interested in doing a study that is on pregnant, on delinquent, on intelligence. Are you with me?
Yes.
And other things like that. These areas is quite broad and is ambiguous, is broad. One particular area I'm looking at because data of different age category. Hope it is clear. Hope you can hear me clearly.
It's season, to be honest. It is.
Okay, it's very clear, right? You can hear me clearly.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. So you want to get a niche, a smaller size, a small enough size that you want to reach upon. But when you don't do a research that will be, you don't look for an area that will be too small, not to be researched upon, that cannot be studied. Are we looking for?
So that means that
However,
there
it is
is
going to
the
be
problem
smaller
of too
than the
general,
broad
and then
area, than the
there is the
broad
problem of
interest that you develop initially. Are you getting it now? So
yeah. So
after
you're
that,
saying that there is a topic can be too broad and
can be
will
very
not be
broad.
accepted, and then it can
Yes,
also be the other way around.
a topic could be very broad and it will not even be researchable.
Mm.
Am I got it?
Okay, so for those that do not know what researchable means, can you just talk about that
Okay,
aspect? Like what does it mean
okay.
for a topic to be researchable?
You want to consider time factor. Can you cover that? Can that topic be done in a reasonable time? Okay, are you getting it? Are you having the necessary resources to do the study, research funds? Are you getting it now? Are your participants, or are you going to get participants, realistic participants to participate in that study? Don't forget I'm coming from a background of the social sciences where we do the participants. Are you getting it now? But I'm
Yes.
so, and also, is the topic novel? Is it is it yes, is it novel? Are we getting it now? Is it novel? Can it contribute to knowledge? Are you getting it now? And if it's contributing to knowledge, is the knowledge contributing to knowledge, is it significant or not? Are you getting it now? These are
Yes, it
questions
is
when it comes
knowledge
to
significant or
researchable
not.
or
Okay.
researchability of a study. Are you getting it now? But, but I was trying to make the point. So I made the second point. And the third point is that you now want to look at a research area. You want to look at the research area. That's the third point. You want to look at the research area. Now, when talking about research area, you want to read literature. People say that there is no new study. And then people say there is no new study. There is nothing new on earth. What that implies, there is an existing literature on that area you are interested in studying. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So what you are doing is not new. It's not new outrightly. You only want to contribute to knowledge, which means that there's an existing knowledge. So you want to read existing literature. Are you getting it? Things
Yes.
it
Yes.
suits you well before you can engage your supervisor or your potential supervisor. Are you getting it? So you want to read
Yes.
existing literature. You want to read past dissertations or I think I could be for PhD. thesis or even project is just nomenclature, you know.
That's right.
A research is supposed to be a research. A research is supposed to be a technical thing, no matter the level you are, no matter the level of what you are carrying it out. Do you understand me now?
That's
Because that's supposed to be a solution to issues or problems. Now, that's strategy. You want to read literature. You want to see what other people seem to have done.
right.
Are
Okay,
you,
okay.
are you true? Yes, because they're talking about the huge, because you are talking about what people have done and what people have not done. Because you need to know what people have done before you know what people have not done. Am I making
That
my
that
point clear?
that means that
Is it
yes,
clear?
I understand. So
Then
that means that for you to be able to pick a topic, you need to go and do
yes,
literature review. Let
you need to
I
be
think
thank
I
you.
think that is something that it's something that many of us don't know. Many
Yes.
students don't know. Let me just elaborate on that because this is a conversation anyway. Because when you said that, it's just something that people really need to know, and I think that we should just elaborate on that. People always think that there is a chapter one and there is a chapter two
Yeah.
and
I
there is
don't
a
even want
chapter three.
Yes, I don't want to go the chapter route because this chapter issue is very, very relative based on institutions, and even
Exactly.
based on departments. Some
Department,
departments,
exactly.
so there's a basics, there's a standard, which is that
Of
every
course, there
study
is a
must have a
standard.
background, every study must have a background, must have a literature review, every study must have a methodology, irrespective of the chapter it is placed. Are you getting it now?
Exactly.
Every study must
Irrespective of the
have
chapter that is
data
placed.
collection. Every study must have analysis of that data collected. Every study must have a conclusion, a summary or something. So it is not, I don't want to go the route of chapterization and stuff that I feel that is more secondary. What matters
Yeah,
is
it's
the
secondary. I,
basic
I wasn't
knowledge.
even talking about chapterization. I was going to
Yeah.
say that um
Mm.
people believe that there is the chapter one and there is the chapter
Yeah.
right. And there is a literature review.
Yeah.
People believe that before you can say you want to do anything about literature review, you need to, finish your chapter one. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not even going into the chapterization now. I'm just saying that, of course, for every university, you need to be able to. The first thing that you're going to write is background. I think that's the standard. I believe that's the standard. Then you go for
Mm.
your statement of the problem, and then your research questions and the likes before you go
Yeah.
to literature review. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to elaborate on what you
Yes.
said, that when you now ask a student to do a literature review, they begin to tell you that, they begin to ask questions that is that not supposed to be after you must have stated your problem, after you might
Okay.
you might have
Very
done the
good.
background
Very good.
study.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? The thing about respect is that that is more of principles, guided by principles and not laws.
Mm.
I often say that that's guided by principles and not necessarily laws. No, principles, from my own definition, subjective. Principles implies that if this is the case I'm addressing, I have to go this route. If this is the case I'm addressing, I have to go this route. Are you getting it now? And and another thing about research is that there's not really one way to getting issues addressed. I would say that there's no one pattern to getting issues addressed. So I just feel like, but normally every research starts from literature review.
Yes, every
I was
research
saying
starts from, that's the point that people need
every
to
research
understand.
starts from review because
Yes.
I often say something that there are three. That, okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I often say something that there are three dimensions, there are three aspects of literature review. People often think that literature review is just in the books. No, I, I think I came across this information some time ago. Literature is true, literature can be print. Can you hear me? In
No,
print.
no.
Those
Okay.
are the ones in the books.
There is a
Can you hear me?
literature in the books. Okay.
In
That's
the book,
that's an
that's
aspect of
print.
literature review.
Yes, that's print literature review. That's print
Okay.
literature, not review. That's print literature.
Print
Are you
literature.
getting it
Okay.
now? Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with
That
you.
is that's print literature. The ones in the books. The next form of literature is what they call cyber literature.
Hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Cyber
can.
cyber literature. Cyber literature includes those literature online. Can you hear me? The
Yes,
internet
I can.
and the likes. The internet, that makes up the second form of literature, that's science literature. And the third form of literature is mental literature. Mental literature includes what you have in your head. And remember
And that's
that
also a
mental literature
literature.
often, yes, mental literature often feeds on what is in the cyber literature and what is in the print literature. Are you getting it now? So even if you want to think about your background research, you say that you want to start from literature review. You are still starting from literature review because whatever you want to do as a topic must have come from your head. And what is in your head is part of literature. It's part of what is read, what is seen, conversations listen to. You get it now? So every study starts from literature. Every study starts from either you like it or not. Are you getting it
And that
now?
is, yes. And
Yes.
that is
So
why,
yeah. The
okay.
question still remains, why do we have problem getting topics, and I
Mm.
said probably because we don't follow these steps. And I said probably because we don't follow these steps. Some people might not follow these steps and they still get topics about that random topics. Are you getting now? But I think that the topics you got came from your mental literature, even if you did not read any literature. You still read. You still read.
Yes, that's
Fine.
right. That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
So
Okay.
So after the first, I mentioned the first step. That is the area you are interested in. Second, you try to talk about getting a niche for yourself. Is that correct? The third one, you are looking for a research area where you have to read literatures, and after that, you now talk about finding gaps. That's the fourth step. Finding gaps. Can you hear me? You understand?
Yes.
In the current researches, you are trying to look for gaps. Are you getting it now? And in this area, I start in what previous studies and what previous studies did not do. This is where you establish the lacuna, that is the gap in knowledge. And the
Mm.
gap could be even in literature, it could be in methodology. The gap might be in methodology, the gap might be in the study, the gap might be in publication, the gap might be in other studies, the design, and I feel no study has used this design. I want to use this design. Are you getting it
Okay,
now?
okay.
So
Okay,
this is the
okay.
first stage. Before going to the last stage, you now go to speak to your potential supervisor. That's why I said they put the cat before the horse. Most of us go to the supervisor first before following the steps.
That's right. That's
Are you
right.
getting it? Are you getting me?
Yes.
So the
Yes.
last thing is that the last thing to do is to go and speak to your supervisor, and not the first thing.
Okay, so someone is asking that, so that we don't dwell too much on the topic. Someone is asking that interested area of topic. I mean the topic that you have chosen. It's saying here that refined love. Okay. What if the supervisor you are giving doesn't say that, like a bachelor student, okay, the same person, like a bachelor student going for a topic that will take years to research. Before you answer that question, I just wanted to wrap, like, do a kind of summary for what you have said about the literature review. When people hear literature review, what comes to their mind is okay, let's go and do conceptual review, let's go and do empirical review. What Dr. Shoyemi is trying to tell us is that before you can pick a topic, do a literature review. And what does it mean by that? He's saying that before you can pick a topic, go and read. That's just the simple thing. Go and read literature. And by literature, we mean books, and not just limited to books. I mean books, articles and journals and what have you. That is a part. Then it could be that you think, like, think. Don't just say you want to pick a topic. Before you pick a topic, read books. Before you pick a topic, read online, things online. And when I say online, it doesn't even have to be articles online. It could be random things that you think you may be interested in. Then it could also come from your head. Do you understand? So read and know the area you want to pick first. going for conceptual review, doing a conceptual framework, doing an empirical review, trying to do all of that and write them down before you go and get a topic. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that read. If there is an area that you are interested in, read. And that is why for some departments, they will tell you that when you want to do your PhD, just go and read. They will just tell you go and read. The supervisors that will tell you just go and read. When you are finished reading, come and tell me the books you have read. I mean, you have read, and then you now start from there. So that's what he's trying to say. Just in case that you may not hear some part, that's what he's trying to say. Now to the next thing. For people, and that's even one of the things that we intended to address. So let's just address it quickly. What someone is asking, what if you have read? Let's just assume that the person has read literature, the person has thought about it, and the person feels that that's the right topic, and the supervisor is not even willing to modify the topic, because there is one thing for a student to give a supervisor a topic, and another thing for the supervisor to accept the topic, another thing for the supervisor to modify the topic. So what if the supervisor is not even interested and not even positive about it at all? What do you do? So I think you have a similar experience, maybe not the same, but what do you do?
Okay, thank you very much. I think I had issues with the network, but I'm going to try to rephrase to recap the question and believe that that's what you're asking. What if the supervisor is not interested in the topic at all? Is that correct? Is that
Not,
correct?
yes, yeah, the supervisor is not interested at all and not even positive about it.
Not even
Maybe
positive.
if the,
You
if the
see,
area,
we
the
we
person said the
said we
area.
said yes. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we talked about reading. Everything starts and ends in reading, to be honest. And it's unfortunate that we have a lot of researchers that might not be interested in reading again. We now just want to use AI to generate topics and just go and give to our supervisors. It's unfortunate. But I'll be talking about that session later. How do you do? What do you do that makes your supervisor more interested in the topic? You've still not read. I'm going to explain that in detail. You want to, you are interested in an area, you know, to graduate, and this is an area you want to really, it's not you're taking time, you want to all the first stages. Can you hear me? Go through all
Yes, I
four
can.
stages. You've gone through all four stages, and before I said the last stage is talking to your supervisor. In the process of reading, in the course of you reading, you should have come across some of your supervisor's past work.
You can come across some of your supervisor's
Yes,
past
you should have
work,
come across some
okay?
of your supervisor's past work, and for your supervisor to have done a study, it means that that study must have interested him or her. Is that correct?
Mm.
And it means that you're coming up with a topic that is similar to the area of interest of that supervisor. So you will need to do a lot of
Okay.
fault finding, not fault finding, critical analysis of the gap that the supervisors want to get covered.
What if you are not
That's
interested
all.
in that area?
That's what I'm saying, that you first find an area before finding the person that is interested in that area.
Mm.
It is not you picking the supervisor first. It's not you picking the institution first. Are you understanding me now? It's not you picking the supervisor first. It's not you picking the kitchen first. You want to take your bag. You want to take your bag. You are going to the kitchen. No. Your purpose determines where you go to. Is that correct? Your purpose
Okay.
determines where you go to.
Yes, I
So,
understand. I understand that point. There's something
yes,
I want to. Sorry, there's something I want to chip in so that we
yes,
put in perspective. You know that there's some
yes,
universities that
yeah,
your area determines who will supervise you.
exactly my point.
Yes, but for some
Hello?
people, for some universities, yes,
Yeah. All things being equal, who picks the university? Who picks the supervisor?
you don't pick supervisors. Oh, in some Nigerian
Yeah.
universities, you don't pick the
In
supervisors.
my university, you pick supervisors.
Okay.
In my university, you pick supervisors. As a matter of fact, you establish a rapport with that supervisor, convince the supervisor in that area where you want to do. The supervisor now tells you go and apply. That is talking about PhD. Are you now?
Okay.
Do you get now? Supervisor now tells you go and apply. It's at that point you now go to apply. That will now influence your admission. Are you getting the point now? Am I making any point? So, but before communicating to a supervisor,
Yes.
remember that you must have read that supervisor's works. You must have seen the area of interest of that supervisor. I guess now before you can even go approach a supervisor, you must approach the supervisor, communicate that these are the things I feel you are doing, these are the things I feel I want to do, or this is an area I can. Then the supervisor now says, "Come apply." But for institutions that don't pick that pick supervisor for you, that's another issue we need to address. I don't know if you want us to address that now. We have.
Okay, so let's just allow people to drop a comment. So, what kind of experience have you had for the person that said that the supervisor may not be interested in his topic? What kind of what what's your situation like? Can you just drop it in the live chat so that we can understand and we can be able to address it appropriately? So, for you, was it that your supervisor was picked for you, or you could, but because actually is an undergraduate student, because he said that a bachelor student. So, and from my own experience, you don't pick your supervisor as an undergraduate student.
Neither
Maybe.
do we pick supervisor from my experience too. We don't pick supervisor for bachelors. For bachelors we don't pick
Okay, so
supervisor.
what if this
However,
person
yes, can you hear me?
so
However,
what if this person is
however,
a bachelor student and
some,
really needs help with
yes, a
that?
bachelor student, you need to be brilliant and intelligent with your ways, with your approach. Can you hear me? You need to be brilliant and intelligent with your approach. You'll be given a supervisor. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you need to pick a supervisor. Your supervisor will be picked for you for bachelors. There's no doubt over that. And I think that's a practice all over the place in the country where you are. Because I know of the country in which that you pick a supervisor for bachelors. Can you hear me? But that's outside Nigeria. Let us talk about home first. Can you hear me? Now,
Yes.
you have an area of interest. And on the average, believe that you are intelligent enough, you are brilliant enough to know what you want and what you don't want, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. You already have a good knowledge of research method and stuff like that, research. You have to find
Yes.
a way to marry the supervisor's interest with your own interest. As a
Marry the
bachelor
supervisor's
student,
interest with your own interest so that you don't have a
yes,
problem eventually. That's
that you
that's
have a
right.
problem eventually because we believe that supervisor might be interested in an area, but you also need to be polite with your approach. Make the supervisor understand that this is what you think you want to do. Explain. You might need to educate the supervisor, educate the teacher. Yes, because it's your mind. Are you with me? It is your mind. During my bachelor, my supervisor never modified my topic, but he did something. He said something. He said, go to the library and pick in a topic related to what books on the area you want to work on. Then there was no internet was not as rampant as we have it now. Can you hear me? Internet was not
Yes.
as rampant as we have it now, but I had to go to the library, painstakingly picked out books and wrote down the reference of those books. I remember that time what he often requests for used to be 10 literature, 10 textbooks, 10 books.
Wow.
Yes, that was then. I'm talking of over a decade ago, some years back now. Not almost
Okay.
20 years ago now, more. So you have to pick textbooks. You understand now, and those textbooks you have to write down there, write reference them, take them to your supervisor, and before that was the criteria before you approve the topic. So you see that he
Okay.
went back to literature. You can see that back. He still went back to literature. Am I? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Yes, he still went back to literature. So, but the bottom line is that you try to marry your idea, your interest to your supervisor's interest. It requires serious intelligence. It requires serious cognitive or mental energy. But that's why research doesn't come easy. Research doesn't come easy. But then you still have to do it. You still have to do it. If it comes easy, you can't pass it out to people to do for them. Joe, that is unethical. Talk about that later. I think that
Yes.
answers the question for a bachelor student.
Yes, yes. So that's very correct. That's very, very. So try, please. Are we listening? Because one of the things I wanted us to also talk about was how to deal with a difficult supervisor, like how to improve your relationship with your supervisor. I mean, if you have a difficult supervisor, how do you approach that person? How do you relate with that person? In fact, emphasis on relate. How do you relate with that person? And that answers the question that you have to be able to marry your interests. Yes, we I know that there are situations where students have requested to change their supervisor and it was granted, but it doesn't happen in every case. That This is me being honest with you. It doesn't happen in every case. There are cases that you requesting for a supervisor, as you know, I've seen cases like that where people request for a supervisor, I mean, a change of supervisor, and it's landed them in trouble. It's not supposed to be like that, but it happens. So if you know that there are other areas that you're interested in, I don't know if Refined Love is still here. If the Refined Love can answer, I mean, can hear me, Refined Love 3035. So if you can hear me, try to marry your interests with your supervisor's interests. Try to read your supervisor's books, your supervisor's articles. That's what Dr. Shemi is saying. Because if you don't, or better still, you just convince your supervisor. Just make your supervisor to see reasons politely with facts. Let your supervisor see reasons see reasons with you. By the time your supervisor see reasons with you, then you're going to be on the same page. Now, don't go ahead and query your supervisor. Don't go ahead and, I mean, don't be impolite. Don't be rude to your supervisor because your supervisor is not on the same page with you. Don't do that, because at the end of the day, if your supervisor still accepts to be your supervisor, you may have issues with it. I've seen where supervisors do not defend their students where they need to be defended. Do you understand that? So that's just it. If you are still here, and if so, please, let's try to marry our interest with our supervisor's interest. I hope that answers the question. Refined love. Please, if it answers the question, just drop it that it answers the question. So I think we should move on now. Someone is asking that in research, especially when using quantitative method, how do you define the mode? This person is going into, data analysis. So well, we intend to talk about methodology, and so maybe you can just take it from the beginning, or wherever it's any point, at any point that people would understand, and even someone who is not, I mean, so that everyone can understand. So this person says that in research, especially when using quantitative method, how do you determine the mode, the mean, and what have you? Over to you, sir.
Okay, hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me, ma?
Yes, I
Can
can.
you hear me? The
Yes.
question, I'm struggling with network, but I believe you talked about talking about mode, the mean. Is that what you're talking about in a quantitative study? In a
Yes, that was
quantitative
what the person
study,
asked.
yes, that is more of an area of research analysis, and during my bachelor, we used to do it manually. We used to do it manually. We have plenty of questionnaires. We start counting. We start taking frequency. And then we start doing this and
Yes.
that. The formula remains. For me, it is summation x over summation n. This kind of things. For grouped mean, for group mean, talk about n of summation x over n or something like that. But we are not in the digital age where things are now being simplified for us. And your analyst is there to actually help you do. Although I cannot admit that your analyst will be able to do that for you. You should be able to do that yourself. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
It's fading.
Yes.
Your voice is fading.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Your analyst is there for you. Your analyst is there to help you do that. Although personally, I don't believe that your analyst should be the one to do everything for you. And even if the analyst will do it for you, you should be able to understand what the analyst seems to have done. So we have the age of SPSS now. You understand now? So that answers the
Yes,
question. How do you
yes,
determine? How do you determine? Not only SPSS, there's another. Even Excel can do that for you.
Excel,
Can you
yes,
hear me?
Microsoft Excel.
Even there's
The
another.
video is not
I
on.
think people are even leaving that. The people are even leaving those apps now. They are now talking about Aru. Aru. Aru is also an app. So there are several apps you
Okay,
can use
your
for
video is off.
analysis.
Your video is off. I don't know if you
Okay,
did
can you
that.
hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So I was saying that people now use Aru as an app to determine all those things. Do you get it now? For quantitative study, where you are talking about mean media mode and other things. But you know that mean means average, median means the middle or something like that. Mode means the most frequently occurring. You get what I'm trying to say. These things are just they are basic elementary descriptive statistics. Do you understand me now? So you get now. So that is the points. Those ones are they are secondary issues. But what I'm saying is that everything starts from the topic and ends at the topic. You must be able to raise a good question. I think that's the most germane area for me this morning. If as a matter of fact, I will tell you something that raising a research question is even better than a topic. Are you hearing me?
Hmm.
Raising a research question is even better than a topic. You raise questions. When you raise questions, those are the questions that you take to your supervisor that you want to answer. Then, before we now talk about before we now start talking about other issues, analysis, those
Okay,
ones
can you
come
explain that?
secondary.
Can you explain that? You say something now about raising questions and then going to your supervisor to tell your supervisor that these are the questions I want to answer. So can you give examples on that so that people can really understand what we mean by raised questions? What, because some people still don't know what research questions are. I believe that we are, some people may be here. So can you just tell, like, in few words, if you can just tell us that, okay, this is an example. For instance, if you're working on this, these are the questions that you can raise, and these are the
Okay,
questions that you can take to your supervisor.
okay. We want. There's a call for a party. Can you hear me? There's a call for a party or to a party, and I'm going to be one of those participating in that party, for instance. And it's a party of foreign persons. Can you hear me? Foreigners from different parts of the country, a global party. And we have people also coming from Africa, people coming from Asia, and other things like that. But then we discovered that we are going to be in that party in a single room, in a small room. But then in that party, some persons brought chocolate for that party. Some brought burgers, some brought this, some brought that. Can you hear me? In that same party. Now, you want to go to that party and you want to actually contribute to that party too. Remember talking about contribution to knowledge. Don't forget contribution to knowledge. You go to that party, you go to the organizer of that party and ask. You go and look at what other people have contributed to that party, and you ask questions of what is yet to be contributed in this party. You are very the question. You just raise the
Okay,
question. That
okay.
question that makes you feel that okay, nobody have provided jollof rice, African jollof, Nigerian jollof, Ghanaian jollof, other things like that, South African jollof, Malaysian jollof. But I want to bring up Nigerian jollof. Is that correct? What I'm bringing to that party
Yes.
is not only original, but it's also significant. But remember
Mm.
that, that could only be answered because I asked the relevant question. So, in your process of reading literature on the area of interest that you are interested in, you will start raising questions. What is this issue with gender? Let me now give an area which is in my field, social sciences or sociology. We're talking about issues of drug abuse, which was an area in my PhD. I did my PhD dissertation. Are you with me? We're talking about drug abuse. Can you hear
Mm.
me? We are looking at the academic life of drug abusers.
Mm.
And we said that people have done several studies on it. But it's like nobody really focused to look at female engagement in drug abuse. Those females engaged in drug abuse, what is the academic life like?
Hmm.
Can you hear me? What
Yes.
is that? I just concluded the question. What is their academic life like? That's a question. That's a research question. Is their
And
courses
then you
quite
now
different from
take
that
that
of
to your
boys?
supervisor.
You said what?
I said, then you will take that to your
You said what?
supervisor. I said,
Hello, ma.
so you said you just raised a research question now, right? And
Yes.
then you said that you will take that to your supervisor,
Yes. Not only
that these are
that,
the questions
and several others that you've raised from
and
your reading
several
of
others.
literature.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's quickly answer some of the questions that I can see here. So the person that asked the question on the supervisor, what if your supervisor is not interested? And then he said that he said that in a country like ours, do we really have the privilege of choosing your own supervisor? The answer is yes, but in most cases, for your masters or for your PhD, you can choose a supervisor. And in some departments, it's when you must have given your topic. For instance, if you are interested in phonology, for instance, you someone who is also interested in that same phonology will be made your supervisor, something of that nature. Maybe it's not that simple, but yes, you have the opportunity to pick your supervisor at the postgraduate level, but not at the undergraduate level. I think that answers your question so that we can move on. Someone is asking a question on plagiarism here. How do we avoid plagiarism in project writing? I think I did a video on that. I did two videos on plagiarism in your project. And I said where I gave my personal experience where I actually cited authors, but still it was I was almost flagged for plagiarism at the postgraduate level because of some areas. So I think you can go and read. I mean, sorry, listen or watch that video on that. How we can avoid plagiarism in project writing. How we can use AI ethically, not copy and paste. I did another video on that. So yes, I think we so that we don't dwell on that too much. Then there is another question I can see here. Someone says that referencing in project differs, but which one is the best way? I think I also did a video on that, but for the purpose of this video, this live conversation, I think we should address it. Which which one is the best?
Okay, is that a question for us to address?
Yes, someone is asking for reference, and I think
Okay.
we should just address it and
Okay.
then move to other
There's
topics
really
briefly.
there's really nothing like best when it comes to referencing. Can you hear
Exactly.
me? There's really nothing like
Yes.
best when it comes to referencing. What is available is acceptable. What we talk about acceptable referencing style, there are several referencing style. There are several of it, and I don't think I know up to half. Because that's not
Because
I
there are
know that
many. That's the
yeah,
case. That like
so
there are many.
we
There are
talk
many of
about
them.
APA, we talk about Harvard, we talk about in fact my institution, the University of Ibadan, is having their own referencing style. UI doesn't accept OPA, UI doesn't accept other things. UI have their own. It's called I think it's called MSUI or UIMS. That's the University of Ibadan manual of style. You understand me now? Here in my institution, for instance, if you are actually when my institution, when you are dealing with tables, for instance, tables in your work. Can you hear me? Tables in your work. A table occupies space. When you have a table on it, you don't put any other thing on that page again. Do you understand me now? That is UI or that's MSUI. That is SUI saying that's what they want. Can you hear me?
Okay.
That's why I think
Yeah,
what
yes,
that's so
I hope
that's
you
what that is. So
understand.
it all depends on the institution and what is acceptable. That's it.
Yeah, so there is no best, there is no we have different, although APA, MLA to Arabian styles, like they are the most common, but we still have Vancouver. In the medical sciences, we have so many of them, so there is no best. And I always say that please go to your university. Some universities, the moment apply, I mean the moment you are admitted into the postgraduate studies, school of postgraduate studies, you'll be given a manual. In that manual, in that book, you will get all the different citations that are, citations are, I mean referencing style, sorry, approved by the university. And also always confirm it with your supervisor. For instance, there are some departments like there's some department. For instance, my department uses Turabian style. Do you understand? So by the time I moved to another university for another postgraduate study, that university was using MLS style. I had to, format my work to match up with their style. And to tell you that, do you know that even if you want to now write a journal, an article in a journal, you now have to follow the references style in that journal, whether or not is the one, whether or not you are conversant with it, or whether or not is the same with your department. Whether it's the same one you use in your department or not, it doesn't really matter. If you are writing an article in a journal, in your real journal, or in National Open University journal, you must do the same thing. If you are using APA or MLA in your department, in your department, by the time you want to write the article, you have to change it. So always ask. That's just the bottom line. Just always ask your department. Always find out from your department, so that there is no best, please. There is no best references. I hope that answer your question. So let's just go ahead to the next one. Someone is asking, um okay, maybe you may want to, answer the question on how do we avoid plagiarism in project writing. And someone is asking, what is the difference between two different research instruments, SEDRSDC and gold research instrument? Someone is asking that question. So over to you, sir. You may just talk about the plagiarism briefly, so that we can go on. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, please. Please, if you can hear him, let's know.
Hello, can you hear me, ma?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, okay. I think you raised two issues, two questions now. Talking about instrument or talking about plagiarism and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know. But the point is that concerning the issue of SEDRC, I didn't hear that question clearly. Maybe you want to come with the question again. But the other question on plagiarism, I think plagiarism is something that we should go with by now. Plagiarism is all dealing with personality. He's talking about. Was there a question that you raised, or you just wanted to talk about plagiarism generally? Sorry.
No, I saw a question. Although when I answered, the person said, I can see that the person said that he is okay with the response. That I'm just reading from this live chat. Someone asked that how do we avoid plagiarism in project writing?
Okay,
And
which is part of the
I don't think I
agenda.
actually I don't think I actually answered that question. So
Okay, on plagiarism or something. It
yes.
was okay. Let me just try to give a brief explanation based on my little understanding of plagiarism. Plagiarism is more originality. Is like a police that arrests you if you cheat, if you try to steal people's idea. When I play this program, I met a person that says that the moment you cite a book, then you will not be for plagiarism. So that's not how the app or any plagiarism checker works. Or plagiarism check, that's not how the app works. Originally, if you use my work, if you cite my work, if you use my knowledge in your work, in your study, and you don't cite, you don't reference, that's plagiarism. That's like what people call copyright. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Can you hear me, man? Yes, that's what people call
Yes, I can hear
copyright.
you.
Yes, and stuff like that. Speaking of ideas, idea tech. But now, how does plagiarism really work? How does it work? It's an issue of you picking. an idea without necessarily paraphrasing. I think you have a video on that already. You know, yes, without paraphrasing the idea.
Mm.
What's expected from a good researcher is that you, when you get an idea, you write that idea, you paraphrase, you analyze that person's idea, and acknowledge and cite the steps of that idea. It could just be a single sentence you get from a person's work, and after getting that single sentence idea from a person's work, you end up making it a paragraph. Can you hear me? You end up making it a paragraph, analyzing it as a paragraph, and at the end of the write-up, you will put an end quote citation stating that this idea is can be traceable to this person's work, to this literature. Are you getting it now? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
that's about plagiarism. So you're not expected to lift anybody's idea. Although people will ask questions like historical research, how do you escape from plagiarism for historical studies, where you need direct quotation, where you need direct quotation. That's a talk for another day. But what I know is that there's been a lot of historical research that scales through plagiarism. Do you understand me now? How do they do it? It's still dealing with paraphrasing, it's still dealing with analysis of the ideas. But people now have a problem, apologies. People now have a very funny way of escaping these things now, of using maybe artificial intelligence to humanize. Can you hear me? Artificial intelligence to
Yes, I can
humanize,
hear you.
to paraphrase what people have said, to paraphrase using artificial intelligence.
Hmm.
Remember we talked about that research should be original. You know that research should be original. This is artificial,
Yeah,
and you're already
yeah,
using
yes,
an
I
app
get
that will
that.
give you artificial things that can't think. So that is just it. That's just it. I don't know if that answers the
So
question, but the point is that you escape plagiarism through paraphrasing and not lifting people's idea, basically.
yeah, yes, exactly. That's the only way you can avoid plagiarism. And I would love to also add that you can run plagiarism test yourself. You can run plagiarism test yourself, and that is to help you prevent plagiarism. Now let me explain that aspect. For instance, your university require 80% originality. When I say 80% originality, it means that 80% of your work must come from you, and 20% can come from others, other sources. So that being said, if you now, for instance, your own work is 60%, someone else's work is 40%. So the moment those sections flagged, they'll be read, and you can easily. And one is the copy and paste thing, and I think I was even I had that part. I mean, that experience, and that's because not because I copied and pasted from anybody's work, but before now, I mean, I used to believe that when you are doing direct quotation, it has to be exact. So if you are doing a direct quote, it has to be exact. Don't change anything. It's just like you're quoting someone and you're saying that this particular person, for instance, Napoleon Hill said that Jesus is Christ. That you have to put the quotation mark. You can say that Jesus is Christ. Now, imagine if you now change it to Jesus is the Messiah. You cannot quote again. Do you understand? So even though Jesus is Christ, the same thing as Jesus is Messiah, if the person that said Jesus is Christ, and you're not quoting and you're saying Jesus is Messiah, it is really wrong. And that was my understanding at the time, which is still. I had so many quotations. So I realized that it's okay to quote, but you cannot continue quoting here and there your work and just, the whole work is just filled with quotations. It's not okay. So what do? Just like Dr. Shoyemi said, just try as much as possible to paraphrase. And when you are paraphrasing, don't quote. I believe you understand. Please, if you understand, let me know that you understand. Oh, Silva, you're welcome. Welcome to this space. So please, please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, you're going to get a lot of things in this channel, a lot of benefits from this channel. And please don't go without subscribing. Don't go without liking and dropping a comment, because it will help it to reach more people who need help. So I'll be entertaining just one more question, because this is an hour already. I'll be entertaining one more question. But I don't know if Dr. Soyemi would like to talk about the research instrument, those specific research instruments that someone is asking for a difference in, or
Me? Can you hear me?
yes.
Yes. I might need to do a little personal study and research on the SEDRC hyphen DC instruments and which other one did you mention again?
Then there is the gold research instruments.
I might need to go and do a study on that before talking or before talking. I wouldn't just misinform people or something like that. But one thing I know is that when you hear about instruments, um, instruments is very, very germane in research. And, you start, I've always said that in your discussion of research, or before you can engage in any research, you want to ask three major questions. You want to ask question of what, you want to ask about question of why, you want to ask about question of how. Can you hear me? Is it clear? Three major questions. Three major questions. These three questions must be answered before you can say a study is going to be success or not success. So, I'm going to come to the question, which is on instruments. The what question, the connection to the three questions, there's a coherence. And the first question is always on what is this with? What are you, what are you doing? Tell me, like, what is the topic about? You know, what is the issue you want to address? Can you hear me? If you don't, if you don't do this study, the person fall. Yes, study will fall if you don't do study. That is an area I talk about when it comes to what. Then why you are the purpose of the study. Or in some institutions they call it the objective of the study, the aim of the study, whatever. That's just nomenclature, that's just grammar, semantics. I get now. Then the why, the how question, which is where this instrument comes in. The how question is talking about how are you going to do this study? And how person talks about what design you use. How are you going to go about the design? How are you going to go about the purpose of the population? How are you going to go about the sampling? How are you going to go about the collection of data? That's where instrument comes in. Are we
Yes.
are we together? That's where instrument comes in. So what is an instrument really? When you talk about instrument, you are talking about issues of
Dr. Kule's Dr. Shoemi's network is breaking, and I think let me just say something about this research instrument that you mentioned. The research instrument, the SEDRSDC research instrument is specific. That's for diabetics, that diabetes care, while the gold research instrument is broader. So if you are not dealing with diabetes patients or issues, then definitely you are not going to use that research instrument. So gold research instrument is broader. I don't know if that answers the question of what's the difference between one and the other. I mean, SEDRSDC and gold research instruments. Chika Siawus, I don't know if that answer your question. And
hello, can you hear
does that
me?
answer your question?
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Welcome back.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now. Welcome back.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So thank you very much. So talking about instrument, I was trying to address the issue of instrument. So instrument is how you want to collect data. Now, remember that interview is an instrument. Interview that is an instrument. Can you hear me now? And we use that in social science research. Are you getting it now? Observation, these
Yes.
are methods of collecting data. Are you getting it now? Then, when the person now talks
Yes.
about a gold instrument or something like that, or SEDRSDC, I think this instrument, I said I'm not going to be, I'm not too informed about this instrument, but this two instrument depends on the area, the discipline of this person. Can you hear me? Discipline of this person. But from the little knowledge that you said first, yes,
Yes, because this
discipline
is
of the
specific
person. But
with
from the little knowledge
discipline.
I have, I could say I could talk about, but please don't quote me, I keep on saying don't quote me. But I know that this issue could be an issue of maybe special needs students, special education. You understand it now? So it depends on the question the person is asking. Because it is engineering,
Yes, for instance, the SEDRSDC is even for diabetes care. Diabetes care.
very good.
It's specific.
Yes.
It's specific. So if you're asking for the difference, gold research instrument is broader, while that one is
Yeah.
specific. So the difference is maybe the difference is just specific and broader. I think we should just
Yeah,
sum
but
it up that way
yes,
so that
yes.
we
But
don't
the point,
really
the
go
point
deep
is that
into it.
yes, but the point is that the answer to this question is actually, I suspect this answer to this question is with the person, asking the question. But
Mhm.
I know it could, these are specialized kind of instruments, basically, depending on the
Yes,
area of
specialized.
the focus of the
Yes,
person. Do you understand me now? The person is into medical research.
yes.
If the person is into medical research, the instrument there differs from some of us in social science. Are you getting it now? And if a person is into history, historical research, if a person is into anthropological research, this instrument varies. Are you getting it now? Pure sciences, social sciences, art related, music related, and other things like that. Do you understand me now? So that is what I can say about that.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Shoyemi. So now to the last question. Since nobody asked question, I'm going to be asking this last question. How do we balance how do we balance our academic life with our professional or work life? So, for instance, there are people who are doing their postgraduate studies and also working. How do you think they can balance both without one, you know, affecting the other negatively? And by the way, I also wanted to say something about plagiarism. I noticed that I've just been talking about, paraphrasing and all. Please, if you paraphrase, still cite. Because when we say that paraphrase, that if you don't paraphrase and you cite, that you are wrong. Even if you paraphrase and you don't cite, you are still wrong. I believe you understand what I'm saying. So
Yes.
whether you paraphrase or you quote, still cite. By citing, I mean the authors. Cite the
Okay.
authors.
Okay. Let me come in. Let me give a little contribution to this. The university where I had my degree and the university where I work at the moment, I observed a common trend, a common argument between the two of them. I said a common argument. They have their differences, but there's a common argument on the issue of paraphrasing. If you paraphrase and you don't cite, you could be wrong. That might not be absolute. I get it. That might not be the case for all. When you make certain statements, that is a general knowledge. That might not need to be attached or associated to a literature or with a literature. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? That kind of statement might not necessarily need to be cited. Let me give an
Yes,
instance.
I get that. I get that.
Yes.
I was
Let me give
actually
a, let me,
talking about literatures.
let me give an instance.
Yes.
Background to the study.
Mm-hmm.
We want to say that okay, literature is not background to the study. But I'm only talking about citing and not citing. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Background
Yes.
to the study in the university where I had my degree and degrees and the university where I work currently, both of them argue that your background to the study, your first paragraph should not be cited. You should not cite anybody. Yes, that
Okay.
could sound interesting. Can you hear me? That sounds interesting, right? Don't cite anybody. That is purely your knowledge. That is purely your language. That is purely you communicating something to someone. And that first paragraph of your background to the study matters so well that it says a lot about what you are doing. If if you have a good knowledge,
That's like background to the whole
yes,
work.
yes. So that's even your first background. That's even your first paragraph now. So you don't have to cite anybody. You want to communicate what you want to do. For instance, my own first paragraph background to the study, I talked about the fact that it is expected that every student should be up and doing in academics. I don't need to cite anybody saying that, right? It is expected that every student should be engaged in academics. I don't need to cite anybody in saying that. Are you getting it now? Students should be engaged both in all academic activities, both in class and out of the class. As long as the academic engaged, students should be found to be engaged. Am I making any sense? That is in my first paragraph, you know.
Hmm.
And my paragraph of 13 lines, a whole paragraph of 13, 7 to 13 lines. I don't cite anybody. Now, I'm not continue saying that, I'm not continue saying that beyond academic life, students should also have a social life.
Hmm.
Still in that paragraph, I'm getting it now. Or even probably even connecting to second paragraph, whatever way you want to argue. You understand me? Then I will say that, and I'll say that, however, some students have been, it seemed like students seem to have to live up to this standard, to this expectation. I get it now. Of which one of the major causes to this could be drug abuse, might be drug abuse, as argued by people, as argued by several literature. In saying all these things, I might not need to cite anybody. Are you getting it now? Because this is like a general knowledge. Do you understand now? So, for instance, in the literature review, after talking about issue of where you cited the person, you might want to say explanation on what that person said in the next paragraph. I don't need to cite anybody.
Hmm.
Yes, I don't need to cite anybody
Yes.
because it is a known knowledge that everybody knows that you are talking about the previous paragraph. Are you getting it now? And that will even
Yes.
save it from plagiarism. Yes, that will even save it from plagiarism. So that's just my own little contribution to that now. Before going to the last question on balancing academic and work.
Okay, so yes,
Can I?
I actually wanted to
Can you
say
hear
that
me?
yes, I understand what you said also, but I also wanted to say that the idea is not that when you paraphrase, when you say something, there's some certain things like, of course, you cannot, for instance, you cannot have all paragraphs with what's it called, with citations. So what is the original, like, what is coming from you? You cannot have the whole I mean your own work from the beginning till the end from you. Then I mean from other people. So what is your input there? So your input will definitely not be cited. So just like Dr. Shoyemi said, there are some paragraphs that do not even need citations. You cannot just fill your work with citations, every line citation. No, it's not. That's not right. But if you got that from someone else, definitely you have to do what I mean. You have to do what you have to cite. So if you paraphrase, you have to cite. I mean, if you got your work from someone, I mean, from a book, from an article, you got it from an article, you read it from an article, you have to cite. But if this is originally from you, who are you citing again? You don't have to cite those ones. Do you understand? I believe you understand. Believe you understand this. And if you have any question, just put this. We may not be able to answer all again because we are rounding up already. And to go to the last question, which is balancing work and academic life. So over to you, sir. I have some few things to say
Okay,
about that also, but I want you to,
okay, okay.
have the floor now.
Balancing work and academics. Like I'm going to say that the strategy that might work for a person might not work for the other person. I'm going to need to emphasize on that. Can you hear me? Can you
Yes,
hear
I
me?
can hear you. I can hear you.
We should know that the strategy that might work for a person might not work for the other person. Work and academics. What type of work are we talking about? I'm a social science student. It could be that you are talking about commitment to your family, your family and balance your study. What if you have a husband that doesn't believe that we are in Africa, where we believe that we believe in gender relegated roles, gender relegated roles. Women should do certain things, men should do certain things. We saw people who believe in that in this part of the world where we came from or where we live. What if you have a husband that doesn't go for a further study? Can
Okay,
you hear me?
but this one is like, it's not about other kind of work. This one is like you are doing your 9 to 5 job, or maybe you have a business. You have doing your 9 to 5 work, and you are still studying. Is this something that is
Yes,
advisable? And
yes,
if it's not advisable, people that are doing this, how can they manage and not get overwhelmed
yes.
and
You
you
know,
know?
let me try to explain something in addition to. Let me try to explain something because we talked about there's a high level of relativity here. You know, like what varies. So let us analyze this. You are working in an organization, a formal organization, not a family work now. Can you hear me? Not a family work now. You're working in an organization. If it's an academic organization, is it a tertiary institution, secondary school, or everybody in tertiary institution knows that you need a PhD? Can you hear me? Everybody in the tertiary institution knows that you need a PhD. Can you hear me? So how
Mm.
can you balance work and study? You might actually need to delegate assignments. You might want to do what they call bargaining of duties. When you have to, okay, I'm in institution. When it's time for your teaching practice, you might need to be in good time with your colleagues. Colleagues that can stand in for you when you need to go to. Also remember that this student is again because if your institution is not going by working, your case is different entirely. Can you hear me?
That's another ball game.
Yes,
Because
the things that I don't want to analyze just in 1 minute or 2 minutes. What works varies. There are lots of things here now. Now, if you are working, your institution is Port Harcourt, University of Port Harcourt, and you are coming to do your PhD here in University of Ibadan. And you have your own stress is different. Your own stress is different. But one thing I know is that we are okay. We believe that we are analyzing for a person who is working in a different place, studying in a different place. You might need to delegate duties to junior colleagues sometimes, or even probably negotiate with your colleagues and plead with them that you might need to attend seminars. You want to go for seminars because you don't go for seminars, you can't do your presentation in the University of Ibadan. You understand me now? Good. You might need to
Mhm.
negotiate with your colleagues at work. Please, I want to go for seminar. I must do this seminar. I must do seminar in a month. And let me and at that I'm advising this with the assumption that you are working with a tertiary institution that knows that you need a PhD to get promoted. Are you getting it now? I'm also analyzing with the assumption that you don't have a very wicked quote unquote HOD. You know, talk about an understanding head of department. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is politics now. You want to lobby. You want to be in the good books of your HOD. Are you getting it now? So that you want to excuse yourself from work, he or she will permit you. Recently, I had a student, a lady came from University of Ilorin, no, from Ilorin rather. She came to meet me. She wants to do a master's here in life. She is working with organization. You
The
know
net
what
and
it
the line
means.
is breaking. Like, I can't hear you clearly
Can
now.
you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So she's working with one of the fast growing eatery in Ilorin, Ibadan, Lagos, and she's one of the advising staff. Sorry, pardon me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And she wants to do her masters here in the University of Ibadan. Can you hear me at all?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm listening.
Okay. Now that kind of lady, I already told her that you attendance in UI is compulsory. 70% attendance, you can't negotiate that. For some course, you need 70% attendance to give you right exam. That's the policy. Not only in UI, in so many people all. So she's already beginning to lobby at her place of work.
Mm.
Okay, now
Yes.
her own strength is different from the strength of a person who works with. a tertiary institution. But what I know is that no matter what you are doing, you need people around you. And you need people around you to be able to have a good study life.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot guarantee that you won't experience stress. I think that would be delusional if I'm saying that. That would be highly delusional. That would be deceptive. You're going to experience a level of stress. The psychological element of that, there are kinds of stress. There's positive stress, there's negative stress. I don't know the one you categorize yourself to be, but then the point is that stress is which is essential for this conversation, navigating study and work life. Is that correct? So, but like I started, you want to look at the end from the beginning. When you see the beauty at the
Mm-hmm.
end, you want to keep on pressing, you want to keep on pursuing. You understand now? One of the strategies balance work and academic life. Our
Okay.
friends outside the country, our friends in Europe that does a lot of student jobs and academic life, I think they're in a better position to tell you how they're able to balance it. Many of them will confess that many of them don't go to class. When it comes to assignment, many of them go to the assignment, negotiate the assignment to third party. And these things, I don't think these things are
They're not
because even when we're in
ethical.
primary school, yes, when we're in primary school, Mabama assignment here, no, sorry, that's in local balance, that's how it is. Don't do the assignment that time. Every assignment is to be done by you, by yourself. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? So these are real issues. These are real issues. But I know that you want to, that does not mean that you should not study further when you are working. Do you understand me now? But please hold this in your own hands. In Nigeria, where you can still delegate duty, where you can actually lobby with your boss, I think that is needed.
Yeah, yes, yes. I,
That
I,
is
I
needed.
agree with that. I agree with
Yeah,
that. And I
that's
must
just
also
one.
add,
That's one of
okay.
several other strategies. I think I can first for now.
Okay, okay. So I said I agree with that, and that's because whether we like it or not, it's quite difficult to balance these things. Balancing work and academic life is actually quite difficult. And there is this thing I also want to add to what Dr. Sheyemi said, and that is there is something I taught also on my YouTube channel, time blocking. I taught that in one of my videos where I talked about research proposal, how you are able to do everything maybe in 24 hours. And I mean, when you have a deadline and then you really need to meet the deadline, of course, I said that you don't have to wait till the deadline before you don't wait till that time before you do what you're supposed to do. But when you are now at the edge and you don't know what to do, that's when you can, the video can be very, very useful to you. But then I said something there, time blocking. Time blocking is very important. If, for instance, you work 9 to 5 from Monday till let's say 3 times a week, those other days, those are not the days to just scroll on the internet. Those are not the days to, because it's just like when it comes to money. When you have 15,000 naira, for instance, as your daily income, and you know that 15,000 naira is your daily income, you save the moment the money comes. You save first before you do other things, because the moment you start doing other things, you may not even have the money to save again. And you ask yourself, what if I have 10,000 naira monthly, I mean daily? Will I survive? Yes, you will survive. So that means that if you now have 15,000 naira daily, you should be able to save 5,000 naira and still survive on that 10,000 naira. And I mean, that's just financial aspect. I'm not a financial finance coach, but I'm just saying. So if, for instance, you have 3 days to work and you have 2 extra days, you know what to do. Do that first. I think Brian Tracy wrote a book on Eat the Frog. That is, do the most important one. I mean, the one that carries weight before other ones. Well, that does not work for everyone. For some people like me, I may want to do the tiny ones so that I know that I have one big one left. Because as I'm doing the one big one, I still have the it in my mind that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even though they are tiny tasks, I still think that it's still 5 tasks, even though they are tiny tasks, so to say. So do what works for you, and most importantly, do a time blocking. Time blocking is that you are blocking time 9 to 12 a.m. or 9 to 12 p.m. to work. Try to block time to work. if you're a morning person, you are, you assimilate more in the morning, you can write more. Now imagine something, let me just end on this note. Imagine something, it has happened to me, and that's one thing that makes people to have writer's block. You are writing and then something came up, you have a call, and then you attended to that call. Trust me, by the time you go back to that work, you may not know your line of thought again. You may have to start from the beginning. Do you understand? So that's why if you have a time blocking, you have some applications on your phone that can block you from receiving calls, that can block you from just scrolling endlessly on other. Of course, you can also use other internet facilities that will stop you from just scrolling on the other Facebook, Instagram, and sometimes for you it's just discipline. So those are the things that you can do, because whether you like it or not, there'll be a point in your life. And now this is not just for people that are studying and also working. What are people in the university that needs to support themselves with businesses? What of people who are now family people but still need to go to work, cater for their family? You know, sometimes study by decide. So this is like a life hack, and not just for people in the academics. So okay, someone
I,
is asking you a question, and this is supposed to be the last question, but I don't know. So anyway, so try
I
to
would like to say something, please. I would like to say something.
okay, so try to just block your time, and
Can you hear me?
make sure that you say you have some time, maybe Monday for your work, Tuesday for literature review. And one more thing before I go, seek guidance and pay for guidance. See, this thing, sometimes people will be like, people will think that, rather, let me not people will think that paying is luxury, but doing finding out yourself is more costly. I've actually tried it. There was a time I had to pay for a course, and I discovered that this thing took me 1, 2, 3 days, less than that. In fact, less than that, it's even hours. But when I wanted to do it on my own, I spent days, hours, I spent months of headache. So if you are probably in another, if you are not in Nigeria and you need guidance, you need clarity, you need help, seek help. Do you understand? For instance, now you want to do field study, you want to go to the field, and it's only you. In fact, the truth of matter is that don't even do it alone. Because if you do it alone, you want to go to the field, you want to do certain things on the field. For instance, you are working. I know someone who worked in a certain part of the country, and where he studied is another 9 hours. He had to get people not to do the work he's supposed to do, but to do the work that he can actually give out. For instance, for someone that is into the sciences and needs to go to get rats, to go to do some things, these are the things that you can do and someone else can do for you. But when it comes to writing, when it comes to some certain aspect of your work, you have to do it yourself. So the things that you can delegate, whether you are a housewife, whether you are, the things that you can delegate, pay for it and delegate so that you can focus on more important things. I think that's where I will stop. So let me have Dr. Shemi, and you want
I
to
think
ask
it's
answer
a
a
very good
question.
it's a very good point. That's a very good conclusion. That's a very good one. But it's just that we live in a very funny society, so that we have funny kinds of persons, and that's the talk about the social science issue. Talking about the funny husband that said that no maid must cook for me. I don't eat street food. I don't eat outside. Those are funny things. We'll talk about that some other day. Maybe not today. You know.
Okay, so before you go, someone said that, please, can you confirm if there is a discount UI staff who intends to go for PD studies within the institution? And by the way, if you are already in the institution, that makes it easy for you because you're going to get a work leave. You understand? But we are talking about people who are not even in the institution. They are doing some other things in another organization and they want to go to school. That was the one we addressed. But whether you like it or not, anything that you are doing, you still need to be able to structure yourself. But the person is asking you that, is there a discount for UI staff who intends to go for PD studies within the same institution? Maybe in terms of school fees, I don't know.
Yes, there's discount. There's a discount. There's a discount
Okay.
actually. But that's going to be discussed between you, the PG college and others. There's a discount. But the only thing
So
is
that
that
answers the
as a staff,
question.
you cannot go for a full-time program. If you're a staff, you can't opt for a full-time PG program. You'll be doing it like a full-time program, quite all right, but you'll be picking an option of part-time. Can you hear me? An option of
Did you
part-time.
get that?
Because
Um,
you
Michael
cannot be
XH.
Yes, you cannot
X9H.
be a full time. You cannot be doing a full time program and also be at work again. It's not possible. That was going to be like cheating the system. Or you are trying to do the impossible. No.
And that's why even people that are working, you need to be let your organizations know that you are studying. You can't even, because there will be a time that you will want to go. You will have to leave. You have to take leaves. I mean, not 1, 2, 3 for your seminars, for your projects, for your exams. So you just have to inform your organization. So that being said, I guess you understand what Dr. Shemi said. So you need to, as a UI staff, you'll be giving discounts, and at the same time you have to opt for part time. And part time, of course, is more expensive, than the full time, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Shemi, I
Yes,
said
I
I
can hear
believe that
you.
the part time is even more expensive than the full time.
No, if you are a staff and you're opting for a part time, you are paying a part of the school if of the tuition. We talked about on the basis of being a staff. Do you
Yes, yes,
understand
yes.
now?
But I mean, on
Yes.
a general level, part time are more expensive than full time.
On a general level, University of Ibadan, I even find it difficult to distinguish between full time and part time for UI. To be honest, on the general level, it even pays you to even say you are doing a full time program because you might end up becoming stressed than full time. That
Okay,
like a
okay,
full-time
okay,
and you
okay,
end
okay.
up and
That's okay.
you
That's
cannot
okay.
do your
Okay, someone
program. You can't
has.
say you're a part-time student and conclude your dissertation in 3 years or finish your program in 3 years. It's not possible. Do you understand now? 3 sessions. So you don't do that. Do you get now? At least
Yes,
plus a minimum of a year compared to what a full-time should use. Do you get it? So
yes,
for
I got that.
for your staff, you are opting for a part-time program, you cannot opt for a full-time program, and they are going to be paying just part of the fees. Do you
Okay, so
yes,
that answers your question. That answers your question. So yes, if you are, as a UI staff doing going for a PG studies, you will be given a discount. Someone asked about research and proposal, but I will just go to my YouTube channel. You see a video on research proposal. I've done that, and Michael X98 is saying that yes, the person understands you. Like he's saying that he understands you. So that will be all for today. So I don't know if you have any other thing to say, Doctor.
I first I want to apologize for the poor network. I'm really sorry. It's an environmental factor, we're in Nigeria, I'm sorry.
And to be honest, sometimes you cannot even know that these things will happen until it does.
Because
So that's
I've been on call before this meeting and it was not interrupted. It was very, very smooth and clear.
that's
So
one
that's
thing.
it.
You will not even be, you will not know when that will happen. Okay, so I on a final note, please, if you are interested in I can see that we have 8 persons here. 8 persons currently. That means that 8 people can actually hear me now at the moment. So if you are here, that means that you waited till the end. There is something I will be giving you, and that is a 15-minute call. A 15 minutes. I don't know how am I going to do it now. I'm just thinking. Okay, so clarity session. You're going to get an academic clarity session. So if you have any other question, if you want consultation on any other aspect of your thesis, all you need to do, yes, let's do it this way. All you need to do is to send research to learnwithdrmojirayo@gmail.com. Send research to learnwithdrmojirayo@gmail.com, and you'll be contacted for the 15-minute clarity session. Let's say 15 to 30 minutes. Let's say 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Anyway, let's just go for 15 minutes. So to talk more than that, then no problem. So we will, if you need to talk for more than 15 minutes, you will be whatever it is anyway, whether 15 minutes or 30 minutes, thereabouts. Just send research to learnwithdrmojirayo@gmail.com. If you are still listening, um, then you get any question that you have, we will contact you and answer all those questions. Anything you want to do for your work, even more in-depth questions that you have that you cannot ask here, anything you want us to do for you, you just send research and you'll be contacted, you'll be replied, and that will be all. Please, if you are after today, that's not free. It's not going to be free, but just for today. And if you are here till the end of this conversation, this bonus is for you. Thank you so much for joining, and if you want any support, just drop it. Any support in your academics, just drop it, just say research, and then you'll be contacted. And if possible, you can just tell us what area you need. Maybe probably after the subjects can be research, and then the contents can be just a brief explanation on what you would need us to help you with. So I think that will be all for today. Please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share with your friends, share with everyone and anyone, because this YouTube channel is um it's very, very important for you, because we're going to gain value. Thank you for everyone for joining. Thank you. I can see your thank yous. I can see them. You are highly welcome also. And I think that will be all for today. Bye.
Bye. Bye bye.
Okay.